Welcome to part one of my mini class on how to start any instrument from scratch. Some of this is going to seem super obvious, maybe a little simple, but give it a shot, because if you've been wanting to learn an instrument for a long time and haven't gotten around to it, there's a good chance it could be something very simple that's getting in your way. I want to help you blast through that this week so that you can get on your way to enjoying your music life starting this year in 2017. So today we're going to take the first step and choose your instrument. This doesn't mean that you can't change it or add more instruments later. Making a firm decision just gives you the energy and the motivation you're going to need to get some noticeable momentum going on your one instrument first. Some of you may already know what instrument you want to try first. If that's you, then you can just skip to the end of all this. But in case you're asking yourself, what's the best one for me? Or thinking, but there are so many that I want to try. Start with this exercise to cut through all of that overwhelm and make a firm decision. All you're going to need is a notebook or a stack of blank paper and a pen or a pencil. Step one, list every instrument that you've ever thought that you might want to learn on one piece of paper. We'll wait for you. Step two, circle the one that you want to play the most. Sound too simple? Okay, let's take a quick look at some of the more complicated systems. I took an online quiz just to check this out. It asked me everything from my basic personality traits to my favorite color and my favorite music. I answered all of the questions very honestly. And here are the results. Xylophone? How did they know that I come from a long line of xylophone players? This whole idea that we need to be tested and found worthy or find our little niche aptitude is really super common in our culture. I encountered it when I was joining the school band. Each student was scheduled with a consultation with the band director, one-on-one. We were going to be assessed to see what instrument was going to be the very best one for us and what we would be best at. One problem here was that the choice of instruments had already been narrowed down to, that's right, instruments that can be heard at a football game. Secondly, it's obvious that they had to fill all the different seats in the band. Unfortunately for me, that meant that my instrument of destiny was the oboe. I'd tell you the whole story about me and the oboe, but it's long and boring and it involves a lot of sinus infections. Instead, I'm just gonna ask you to trust me. Forget about all those aptitude tests. Take the idea that you might not have the DNA required to play the instrument that you really want to play, throw that out the window too. You get to play whatever one you want. Chances are the first one you thought of is the one that you want to play the most. You owe it to yourself to at least give this a try before you change your mind and decide to try something else. Now, if you still feel seriously torn between two or more instruments, just take 5 more minutes to do this simple exercise. We're going to start with your master list of instruments of everything that you could possibly want to play. Try to start crossing them down until you can at least narrow it down to 3. Then write each of these 3 at the top of its own piece of paper. Then answer these 3 questions for each of the instruments. Question number 1. What kind of tunes would I enjoy playing as a master of this instrument? Just list the names of the tunes or even general styles of what you might want to play. Question number 2. How would it benefit others for me to play this instrument? Question number 2 is fun. Just brainstorm and jot down some images that come to mind. Do you imagine your family dancing to a fiddle tune around the holidays? Or do you just know that you would perform at work better if you could sit down at the piano at the end of a hard day and just decompress? I think the people who told me that I should play the xylophone may have forgotten to think about question number 2. And question 3, why do I want to play this instrument? Some of this may already be on your page from answering question number 2, but question 3 might bring up some other things. Do you want to be able to earn money busking on a solo instrument while traveling? Do you want to jam with your friends on the weekends? Did somebody tell you that you don't have enough creative talent to play instrument X and you want to prove them wrong? After this, I hope it's easier to pick. Look over all of your answers and choose the page that either has the most writing on it or gives you the best feeling when you read over it. Shoot for the stars here. You might as well pick the one that you're really excited about. You can always change your mind after you give yourself a fair shot at trying the one you like most. If you already play a lot of instruments but you want to increase your mastery this year, it's still good to pick a top priority. Finish by circling one instrument for 2017. Once you get this done, please share with us in the comments below. And stay tuned Wednesday because I'll be going over the top pitfalls to avoid when starting an instrument from scratch.